Hey everyone, welcome to The Squad. This is the Park Squad Pod, a podcast where four friends catch up and chat about all things Disney, day-to-day life, and more. My name is Brandon, and I'm your host for today's episode, and I'm here with the rest of the squad.
I'm Heidi.
I'm Tommy.
And I'm Haley.
Welcome to episode 14 on ExtravaBranza, aka Brandon's favorites draft. And before you say, wow, Brandon's doing a whole episode by himself, it's because it is my birthday, which was yesterday, I guess, when you're listening to this on April 28th, which is so fun. So everyone here's idea was if we did like a Brandon focused episode, which I'm sure we'll do for everyone's birthday. But then we kind of thought like what better way to do it than a draft, which is fun because we haven't done one of those in a little while. So we kind of compiled all of my favorite things. I kind of made different categories, 6 of them to be exact, and I'll take you through them. But yeah, we think this will be so fun. So of course you can play along with us over on Instagram, YouTube, those kind of things at the Park Squad Pod. You can let us know kind of what you think that maybe you would draft or what I would pick if it's like my favorites, and let us know how all of these squad members do throughout this episode. But I will take us through the categories here and each thing in the category for those people listening on the podcast platforms, and then I'll put it up here visually for all of the YouTube people to see as well. So like I said, we have 6 different categories. The first one is characters, and in there is the Genie, Judy Hopps, Goofy, Iron Man, and Sorcerer Mickey. We then move on to food. We got a Shaky Jamaican, aka the Shaken Jamaican cold brew from Joffrey's, the Nutella fresh fruit waffle, the loaded mac and cheese with garlic parm sauce from Chicken Guy, Disney popcorn, and a baseline tap house pretzel. Moving on to attractions, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, Fantasmic, Tower of Terror, Runaway Railway, and Toy Story Mania. We then have a random category which has Nuimos or Wishables in a fanny pack, Disney Enchantment, or the song You Are the Magic from Disney Enchantment, pin trading at Disney World, Epcot's Harmonious, and wearing hats. Then we move on to movies. We have Zootopia, The Incredibles, The Lion King, Toy Story 3, and Avengers Endgame. And then rounding out all 6 categories is memories that we all have collectively together, or just like my biggest core memories of myself. And that is becoming a cast member, getting engaged to Heidi at Disney or that engagement trip, meeting Haley and Tommy for the first time, spending Christmas Day at Disney World, and then our night at Epcot with Haley and Tommy and the Leffersons, where we watched Harmonious and did a Pop Century sleepover. So again, memories with all of us all together. But those are the 6 categories. How do we all feel?
Well, I'll say that I missed one of the categories. And when you said 6, I said, oh boy, I have to look at my paper. And I quickly did it. But I'm excited because I think things could take a turn. Brandon could have different perspectives on things. We could interpret things differently. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's very possible that Brandon mentioned like something like, I don't know, once like 2 years ago or whatever. And now I just think it's like his favorite thing. He's like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I kind of like that.
And I feel like Brandon, like you like everything. Like there's not really a lot that you dislike. So I think that I think it's going to be harder for you determining like which one is the best than it is for us. I think that we kind of have like a knee jerk of what we all think your favorites are.
Like our perception, yeah.
But I think that like when you see them all compiled at the end, it's going to be hard for you to pick one.
Yeah, and I think that having like Disney favorites is hard because things over time change. Like you said, Tommy, things kind of hop in. But I think there's a lot of things on here. Hopefully people like seeing this list who know me think that a lot of these things are very like Brandon, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And before we go on, pause this video right now and go wish Brandon happy birthday in the comments.
Oh, yeah, happy birthday.
Flood him with happy birthday.
Wow, love it. Thanks, guys. Tommy is also going to tell us our random draft order. I also will be drafting, so will the other 3 squad members, and we're going to each draft. And I also should have said this, that you don't have to go in order of the category. You can take whatever is on the board. So there's a lot of things, and one item in each of the categories will go undrafted.
Yeah. So I have, I don't know if the viewers on YouTube can see, but I have all of our names put into random.org for the the sanctity of the draft. It has to be impartial. So I'm going to go ahead and randomize right now to get our order. And our order is, I'm going to take a second, Haley, Heidi, Brandon, and then myself. And like the other drafts, if this is your first draft with us, it'll be a snake draft. So basically it'll go pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on until we finish six rounds. So the odd rounds will be 1 through 4, and then the even rounds are 4 through 1.
So I was kind of hoping for 1, but at the same time, I was kind of hoping for 4.
Yeah.
Because I definitely know what I think should be like the number 1 altogether. And so I'm happy about that. But I also think that there's so many strong ones that number 4, who has 4th?
I do.
I think that that's a good place to be as well, to get to pick 4 and 5.
I agree.
So true.
But my knee jerk right away, first one that I had to go with is attractions. And I have to pick Phantasmic first.
That's what I would have done.
Good
1-1
one.
as well.
That would be, like when I thought of this, even before like he sent over like any of his favorites, when I think of Phantasmic now, I think of Brandon. When I think of Brandon, I think of Phantasmic. So it has to go together. So that's my 1-1. Feeling pretty good about my choice, but I don't know. Some of the other categories aren't as easy, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely gets tough. Yeah.
I'll say I'm happy to pick with number 2 because, like Haley said, I thought I really wanted to get attractions first, and I had 2 attractions that I was going back and forth for. One was Phantasmic because I know that like Brandon, I feel like is like you said, Haley, when you think of Phantasmic, like I just think of Brandon, like he just like loves it and talks about it, and I feel like you also get everyone on the Phantasmic train.
Yeah,
where,
but it's like a newer thing for me, though.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, like obviously since working
Yeah.
and things like that.
I feel like it was like a high concentration.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. So, but I'm happy with my other choice, which I was actually going to pick this one first, and that is Guardians, because I was going back and forth. I'm like, which one is more him? And I think Phantasmic's more Brandon, but I feel like Guardians, if you could never ride Guardians again, I feel like you'd be very sad. And so that's why I ended up choosing this one. So I'm happy to get Guardians as my first pick.
Wow. So now it's me, and now that
it should be easy.
But this is my thing is I feel like that there's a lot of pressure to pick things, and then I feel like everybody's gonna go, what, you picked that? So I hope that that's not the case, but
it's your
anyway,
choice,
I know I think that attractions now, like those would be my top 2, like easily. I think everything else is kind of just maybe things that I like, but I don't really talk about as much anymore. So I think that's fair that you guys went that way. What I'm going to go with next, though, I'm going to do character, and I'm going to take the genie because I feel like I'm very vocal. Yes, Haley has it on her shirt. I'm very vocal about the genie. I feel like that I always kind of talk about him, and like I feel like that's my most clear cut. If I had to pick a favorite character, like I love him so much, and I just think that that's kind of through time, he's always been my favorite. So I definitely wanted to get him off the board. I think he's great, and I think it's good having one of those good characters on my team.
Nice.
That's who I would have picked for you.
Yeah.
I think
This is just validation of how much I feel like I know Brandon.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm up next. Like, I think it is tough because I keep looking at these categories and being like, oh, I could go a million different ways. I think I'm going to break into memories first, and I'm actually going to go with the one that none of us actually on this call have a relation to, directly at least. And I'm going to go with Brandon becoming a cast member. Obviously, like a huge moment, getting to get the name tag and put the name tag on. Obviously, been a dream for a long time, and kind of like a very rare occurrence. So I'm going to start off with memories, and I'm going to go becoming a cast member. Definitely a unique memory. So I like that one. Kind of closing out the first round. I think it's deserving of a first round pick.
Which obviously, like, I love all those memories, but I think, Tommy, that's probably my most like strongest, and like I think for me that was like a dream forever. So obviously to have that, I think that's a really good pick to have in this draft.
Nice. Love to hear that. To start the second one, I'm kind of waffling a little bit on this one.
Is that a hint?
No, yeah, actually, no, it's not. I will stay in that category though, and I'm gonna go Shaken Jamaican, affectionately known as the Shaky Jamaican. I think it's one of those things where you're probably good for like one a day. So on sheer volume alone, especially when you're hitting the parks and then going to work your shift afterwards, as a cast member, the Shaky Jamaican is going to come into play a lot there. So a little bit of a package deal, I guess. But I'm going to open up both categories and go cast member and then Shaken Jamaican.
I think that's, well, I don't want to keep saying.
Jeez, honestly, just give it to him now, Brandon.
But I think again, because I want to chime in a little bit, and if anybody else wants to chime in, but I think like those are very good, like back-to-back picks, and I feel like
mine and
the boys are in cahoots.
They are no, but I'm saying I think
the bromance over here.
Seriously, we should have never let them go on that boys night.
Boys
Yeah.
night.
Boys night. No, but I think that like all of these categories, like me and you were saying this, I think that they're very, which maybe not, but like I think more top heavy than not in terms of things that I love, I guess, maybe,
They're
right?
not
Like,
all even necessarily.
yes. So I think that those are both very good in those respective
they're good
categories.
choices. Nice.
And it's back to me.
Yeah, it's you
Yep.
next.
So this is again now one where like I'm between two categories, and I think I'm gonna go memories as well, because this is a memory for me that encompasses lots of things, but it's gonna be getting engaged at Disney. And the reason for this, like obviously getting engaged was like the biggest ever highlight, but we also did a lot. Like I think that trip, like and you guys were there for the majority of this trip except for that like 1 or 2 days. We did a lot there. We obviously did like a VIP tour. We got to experience Club 33 with a friend who was there and stuff. We got to see them again after like a little while. So I think that was just a lot of like good stuff. We also stayed at like Animal Kingdom Lodge, and I just think that getting engaged at Disney is very magical, which you guys also have done. But I think for us, this was just like a really cool thing, maybe expected for you, maybe not expected, but I just think that there were some things in there that just like really made this a really good trip. So that's my one.
Okay. This one, I had an original kind of thing that I was going, but I feel like also reflecting on like the order of how things are going, I have to like modify. That's the whole thing with the draft. It's like you have to pivot and be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not really 100% sure. I feel like I'm going to go with food next, which I truly don't know your food. Like, I think I'm very confused about your food thing, but I'm going to go with what I know is true. And it's just a fact that your favorite food is popcorn. So I'm going to pick popcorn as
It's a good
my
pick.
one.
Yeah.
Because like, despite all the things that you eat at Disney, popcorn, according to you, is your favorite food.
It is my favorite snack.
Your favorite snack.
Regardless,
Other
like
than cereal.
Disney or not.
Yeah.
Cereal and popcorn.
So I'm gonna pick that one as my next one.
That's a good one. And I think that this is also funny because we have good memories of like popcorn buckets where I forget it, don't use it, you get mad at me, we buy a new one. It's just like a whole cycle.
Yeah, and
Good
also
pick.
Tommy took Shaky Jamaica, which I feel like that was what I was thinking originally. So
You a bit salty?
no,
Just
not,
kidding.
not
With
salty.
the popcorn.
Like the popcorn.
Yeah.
All right, I have two back to back.
You are back to back. Yep.
Wow.
It's getting hard because like Heidi said, like there's ones that like I feel like I should be like scooping up, but like there's only one more person to pick before then, so I have to like weigh if I think that it's like that if I didn't get my choice, if the next choice would be like that much worse, or if I think they're like it's kind of like a toss up. Because like obviously these are all of your 5 favorite things, so it's nothing like you didn't throw any like red
Curveballs.
herrings in, like
Yeah.
you didn't like none that you like don't like.
True.
For random, is Harmonious the show or the song? The whole thing?
The whole show. The whole
Okay.
Harmonious show.
It's so hard because like you said, like you went volume for Shaky Jamaica.
Yeah.
Like Heidi kind of went the same thing. And I feel like some have like a stronger impact, but you don't do it as much, or like it's like a one and done. So
Haley's going through it over there.
Yeah.
I am. It's hard.
I know.
Okay, I'm gonna go memories next. And the memory I'm gonna choose is when we all watched Harmonious together with the Lefersons.
Good one.
Because I feel like it was just like a culmination of like fun things. Like we got to meet the Lefersons, we got to watch Harmonious together, we laughed, we cried, we ate snacks, like then we had the sleepover. Like I think it was just like that night was like top tier Disney together.
Yeah. Love
for
it.
me. So maybe you actually hated it and it's your fifth
bottom
pick.
memory. Yeah.
No, it was a really good memory. Like, and it was also
so
just
fun.
like a lot of stuff. And I think it was just, we were those like rowdy people at Harmonious, like wooing and yelling. And we just were like loving it. And then like now looking back that it's gone, it's like, we're like the biggest ever champions for the barges and that show. So that's a good pick.
Yeah, it's a good thing we got that experience in, because
I
little did we
know.
know, it was short-lived.
I must say.
They didn't even give it enough time to like
to breathe a bit.
gain that. Like you talked about it in last week's episode, that like it doesn't have the nostalgia that other things have, but Disney didn't even give it enough time to have the nostalgia. They just Moved it on.
Yeah,
Yep.
not
Yeah,
right.
and it's
Justice for Harmonious.
Seriously,
Okay.
like
The
art-
next places I want to go are random and movies because nobody has taken any, but they were my two least like secure answers when I looked at them because I feel like random is all over the place.
Yeah.
like you are constantly in a Disney hat, whether you're at Disney or not at Disney. So that feels like one. But like if you had to wear a different hat, I feel like you would. And then the Nuemo is like a signature Brandon look. Like
Yeah,
I
the
feel like
Witchable
you like
Nuemo, yeah.
cornered the fashion market on that with yours. But then Harmonious and Pin Trading are in there, which are both so hard. Oh gosh. Brandon.
I'm so sorry. Maybe
It's so hard.
maybe you'll make yours a bit easier on us. Clearly, I
No,
did.
I'm not. After this, no way. no, Heidi's is next. So I have to see.
And
See
and
how
I
it-
also want to preface Heidi's is going to be insane because Heidi doesn't even know all of hers. I feel like
It
and
changes on
and
the
it doesn't
movie.
have to be the same categories, obviously,
Yeah.
but I just think that that's going to be a toughie.
Yep.
Okay. Oh God, Brandon. Okay, I'm gonna throw it to food actually.
Out of left field. There we go.
Yep. And I'm gonna go chicken guy because I feel like when I watched the vlogs, you ate there so many times.
Oh yeah.
And it's something that you can only get at Chicken Guy because you even went to name the sauce with your food. So I have to just go Chicken Guy.
It's a good pick. I'm a very big chicken guy champion. I like when I saw the news, which was clickbaity on WDW News today, that Chicken Guy's going bankrupt. I
He was
shed a
sending
tear.
it to everyone.
Yeah.
I don't think Chicken Guy can go bankrupt when Guy is the entire cornerstone of the Food Network.
Exactly. No, he's good. So I
It's
think
just
that's
like
a
a
good
passion project. Like,
Yeah.
I also want to just say that this is one of those things. I think like I might be in the minority on loving Chicken Guy, but I think that's probably way too much. Like if you saw me eating my Chicken Guy, it's like the mac and cheese, all the tenders. I put more sauce in the mac and cheese,
It's a lot.
mix it around perfectly, and it's delicious for me.
Yeah, I feel like everyone likes Chicken Guy, but like you like love Chicken
Love.
Guy. Like you're like, I need to go to Chicken Guy. And everyone's like,
I think
okay,
it's
like,
good.
It's good, but like
The tenders are good. They're nicely seasoned. They're pretty thin. The mac and cheese is good. I like
I
it.
feel like that's why I had to pick it for you. You're the only person that would ever like you like it more than anybody on the planet.
Yeah.
Like it might not
Oh,
be your
wow.
favorite thing.
May
But you're the
legitimately be
biggest
Chicken
fan.
Guy's #1 fan.
Yes.
yeah.
Everybody else thinks it sucks on this panel here, and I just love it.
No.
No, I love Chicken
I
Guy.
think it's alright. Yeah, I don't know.
I
It's been a
don't really
while.
like it anymore because we eat it all the time.
That's why I picked it. I don't think I've ever seen Brandon eat one meal more often in
Yeah.
Disney World than Chicken Guy.
It's true.
Seriously. Okay, it's my turn next.
Yeah.
I am going to go with movies.
Nice.
And I am going to pick another according to favorites. Your favorite movie is Avengers Endgame,
It is.
like of all time.
Of all time.
So,
Yeah, I was hoping
Yeah.
to get that late.
yeah, so I know that I have to get it because I want to like solidify it, and I know that all the movies I think are like you like all these movies. Obviously, they're on here, but I feel like Endgame has a special place in your heart.
Mhm.
When we first started dating, he would literally just watch that movie
Certain
all the time.
scenes.
When he was cleaning, I would
Yeah.
just come into a room, and he would just be like, the fight scene." He's just
I'm like,
watching
look,
it again.
Cap got the hammer
And then-
again.
and he's like, look at this part. It's so cool. And I'm like, yeah, already seen it. So I'm glad to get that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like the most popular movie of all time, and I do strongly associate it with one person, and that's
Yeah.
Brandon. Yeah,
That's
I
the one
just
I was
think
leaning towards, but then I was afraid he was going to go like nostalgic and then it wasn't going to be the favorite.
Yeah.
So I panicked.
Yeah, like I think that it's one of those where if I had to put on a movie to throw on to rewatch, like I would love to rewatch it. And I know that people are very kind of mixed on Marvel, but I do think that was like a peak where like it was so good, a lot of characters, good moments, and like the culmination of all that time. I think it's a good pick. Yep.
Thank you.
And then it's on me now, right?
Yeah.
As I say all that. Okay. I'm kind of interested how nobody's dabbled into random, and it could be like Haley said, where it's just all over the place and who knows
Overwhelming.
what to take. So I'm gonna take something that I think has become kind of like Haley said, a thing that I have really championed. And I will say this, I know this was big on TikTok with everybody sticking the little hair elastic around, but I used to stick a wishable in a fanny pack before that craze. So I'm taking the wishable / Nuimo plush whatever thing in a fanny pack, because this is one thing that every time I go to a park, I plan out which one of those I'm going to stick in my fanny.
Yeah.
And I really love that.
We've got to put pack on the end of that word there, bud. You can take the back half of that alone, but you can't take the front half.
Oh my, okay. What wishable plush or Nuimo I put in my fanny pack? I'm so sorry. But I just think that is one thing that I just love. And like I said, I don't like to take the credit for it, but I do think that I really did that before the hair elastic. And I don't even use the hair elastic. I stick it right in the little pouch. And I think it's great. I have like a lot of them. I also bring back the wishable, please, because I love wishables.
Which they are now.
They are, like a little bit slowly. I just love that. And I think that's a very iconic. Like it's between that and a hat. Like I always wear a hat, like you said, Haley.
Why are you
No, I'm saying in terms of, I'm not saying that like it's the order that I would take stuff in. I'm saying it. No,
it's his key accessories is what he's talking about.
Yes,
okay.
yeah. In terms of accessories, I'm not saying that how that I would rank it. I'm saying in terms of my outfits, those are the two most prevalent things.
Okay. No, I think taking that on is yours too, because I think it's hard for guys to accessorize in Disney World, and I think you've really hit the nail on the head with both of your accessories.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Appreciate
Good
it.
job, Brandon.
Wow, what a journey that was.
All right, I'm going to focus, I think, my next two picks on things that I know Brandon likes a lot, obviously, because they're on this list, but I'm also going to try to get some points by association. So my first pick is going to be movies, and it's going to be Zootopia. That's still available, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Zootopia. Obviously, there's a character in this movie that is present elsewhere on the board. So, you're getting some of that value there. But you also get Nick Wilde, who I know is a fan of, and kind of Zootopia as a broader concept. Kind of buy and low while the stock is still a little bit lower because, there's prospective park sort of news, maybe like kind of in the distant pipeline, as well as a sequel. So I'm going to snag Zootopia, for some of the big character impact from the fact that I know it's a movie he likes a lot, but also, a couple years from now, it might be a bigger part of the parks more broadly. So
I like it. I think this is also one, not trying to toot my horn, but I think that I've liked this, which I know that it made a bunch of money, but I think that nobody kind of in the Disney verse always talked about Zootopia. And I think that I always, for a while, have really liked it. So I think that's great. I do love that. And that character, Judy, is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And now I am going to pop over to characters as well. And I'm going to go with Sorcerer Mickey. So a little bit of a newer one, I think. Not as much of a mainstay as the four others. But one of those things where, when I think Sorcerer Mickey now, I think Fantasmic, and I think Brandon after I think Fantasmic. So it's kind of inextricably linked. So kind of hoping to siphon off some of those Fantasmic points with Sorcerer Mickey. But I know it's something that's been a big interest recently, like kind of building collections and, being more into the sort of the character and the specific design of it.
Love it. Well done, Tommy. I think that's a good pick. I also think when I was doing characters was the hardest one, I think, like in terms of the categories. Also like random was hard, but characters is hard because I feel like I have ones that I really like at the top, but then like newer ones like that have come in, like you said, Tommy, who I haven't loved for as long, but I really do love. So I think that's good. And I guess now it's on to me.
Yep.
And I'm a bit not sure which way to go here, which is very funny because I feel like the other categories that I have left, the other three, I don't feel as strongly about any of them as the picks that have already been taken in those categories. So now it's kind of like scrounging for scraps, which is not true in this. But I am going to go into movies, and I'm going to take The Incredibles out of movies. And the reason that I'm going to do this one, which the other two I also do love, I just think that Incredibles, if I had to pick my favorite Pixar movie, that's Incredibles. And I do, this is one Disney movie that if I could throw it on to rewatch, I would love to rewatch it. I'm excited to do like Incredicoaster. I just like everything about this movie with like the score, the characters, like, and the movie. So I'm going to take The Incredibles off the board.
Nice.
Incredicoaster rocks, yeah.
I can't wait. Like
so fun, yeah.
genuinely cannot wait.
I'm going to go with characters next because for characters, I had sort of two next options that I was going to go with, but I wanted to have a little bit of more variety. So I'm going to pick Judy Hopps for my character.
Nice.
And I feel pretty good about that one because like Tommy was kind of saying for the opposite reason, like he got Zootopia. So I feel happy with Judy Hopps to kind of fit that love for Zootopia in there.
Love it.
All right. I have two.
Yep.
Yeah.
And two of the categories are already all the way picked over except for my pick. So I'm going to have to go with a random.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the one that I'm going to pick is going to be a surprise to the listeners. I'm picking the Enchantment song because I do believe it was in his Spotify Wrapped.
Oh yeah.
As like the most played song.
Number one, baby.
Yeah. So for that knowledge alone, I had to go with it because it's something that you consume outside of Disney, even when it wasn't there. And the other ones are like kind of exclusively in Disney World.
Yeah, and Enchantment's not exceedingly popular, so it's almost like a chicken guy situation too, where like you may be Enchantment's number one fan as well.
Yeah, I just have like Brandon's niche likes, like only things that only Brandon loves is my whole list.
Yeah, like everybody else is all about like nostalgia, which we talked about last episode. But I'm like, I'll eat my chicken guy and put headphones in and listen to You Are the Magic and be fully content.
And then my next one is characters, and this is who I was gonna pick after Genie anyway. And I think it's a sleeper favorite, and it's Goofy.
Good one.
I think that he's like, well, you have a shirt on too, which is nice, but he feels like an OG, like a character that you could have liked your whole life because he's been there forever, and other characters are newer.
Going back to his roots.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is also one that like I think I like him because my dad's favorite is him, and like as a kid, always like he just always loved Goofy. My dad loved meeting Goofy, so that's a good pick. He's like my childhood favorite for sure.
It's nice. Okay, the next one that I'm gonna go with is the random category because the other category that I have left, like all of you have already picked out of it. So with random, I feel like you could kind of go any which way in random, which is kind of nice, but I think that I'm going to stick with kind of in a similar fashion to something I picked before, and I'm going to go with hats for random because when I think about Brandon and think about day to day, if you could never wear a hat again, I feel like you would be like in distress.
Which is so bizarre. I used to hate wearing hats. Like my dad always as a kid was like you should wear hats, and I just did not want to wear them. And now it's like every day to the daycare I wear like a new hat, and at Disney it's very like interesting. I don't know why that I never wore them or now why that I do wear them all the time. I don't really understand.
Find you a groom hat for the wedding.
No, Heidi will not. No. Heidi will not allow that for sure. No, that's funny.
But yeah, so I'm happy with that pick. But I feel like random's like a pretty good category where anything from that category is like a good one.
Yeah. It's also very funny because at work at Disney, a lot of our costumes had hats or no hats, and you don't have to wear them. And I always opted
to wear them.
Even that huge, massive, wide brimmed.
The
almost
white
like whatever.
Honestly, that's the hat I would want to wear. Yeah,
that was my favorite.
Nobody ever wanted to wear it, and I'm like, I like love wearing this. It
I don't
keeps
think
the
I've ever
sun
seen
off.
anyone else wear it.
No, I always would wear it because I think it's so great. It's so funny and perfect.
And I feel like if you're the cast member uniforms at Disney aren't like fashion statements.
Yeah,
like it's not like you're really looking your best, and then the hat ruins it. So you might as well just wear the hat and not be out in the Orlando sun.
Get protected from the sun.
Yeah. And it makes me look way taller, which is just even more crazy.
Just what you need.
Yeah. I guess it's on to me now, and I have two categories left. Again, which I said earlier, neither one of which I feel like I gravitate towards either, but I'm going to take one that I think I am a big, again, champion for, and that's Runaway Railway as an attraction. That was one when I wrote it for the first time. I loved it. It then instantly moved into my top 5. And I just feel like for me, it's one of those which kind of maybe not in the minority, but like a little bit where people don't like always say that they love it or it's like in a top 5. So I feel like for me to have that one in there, I really do like it. So I'm going to take Runaway Railway off the board.
Nice.
I feel like my gut reaction is like good choice, but like it's a good choice because they're your favorites. Like I'm like,
You're
oh,
like,
that's a
pat
good
me on
one.
the
Brandon
back.
explains why he likes it. Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. All right. I think so. I'm on my last two picks, closing out my side of the board. I think for my penultimate pick, I'm gonna go with random. And I know this is kind of a shared feeling amongst this entire squad, but I'm gonna go with harmonious. It's definitely underappreciated and overlooked, and it's gone too soon. I think it was like a really special sort of nighttime spectacular, and I know Brandon, you feel similarly. So yeah, justice for harmonious. Bring the barges back.
Seriously.
But in the meantime, it'll have to live on through my draft board.
In our hearts.
Yeah, and in our hearts. Yeah, exactly. All right, and then closing it out, this one I had the hardest time with, I think, for attractions. Once the first two went off the board, I've been really kind of, I don't know, struggling to pick. And it's kind of a toss-up between the last two, but I think Tower of Terror I associate more so with Heidi, so I'm going to pivot and go with Toy Story Mania, primarily because, and this is like a very personal, not very personal, but we have a personal kind of shared appreciation for the alien room, because I feel like we're both like always losing until the alien room comes around, and that's where we're able to like turn it around a little bit. So for that kind of specific niche shared experience, I'm going to go with Toy Story Mania.
I like it. I'm also not very good at this ride, which I think that I've learned, but I do have a good time with it. And like it used to be my all-time favorite, and then has kind of shuffled around. But I do think that, like I just love it. I love the vibe, and I do love that alien room is so fun, because you don't like the alien room, but I love
No, that's the worst room. The one with the ring toss.
That's room. Yeah,
it's the hardest room in the whole thing.
Yeah, wow.
And they all go, ooh, it's so fun. It's so good. It's on to you.
No, your last pick, Brent.
Me. Oh, me.
Yeah?
Sorry. Oh, wow. I'm in food.
He's like, why is everyone staring at me?
For the comment earlier, everyone's now judging me. The fanny pack. I'm
still on that.
I'm still on that because I can't believe that. That's just crazy to me. Okay. Food is the one that I think for me has a lot of good ones, but I do feel like was very top heavy. The other ones I do like, and I'm going to pick the one that I think I would get more often and I have good memories with, and I think is like a staple for me, and that's the fresh fruit waffle from Sleepy Hollow. I know that this is probably like a universally loved thing, but I do think that all of us collectively love this. I love going to that park and getting that waffle, go to the Hubgrass, whatever. Like, I just think that it's a really good food item, and I really love like all of like the memories and the vibe around that fresh fruit waffle.
Yeah, I considered it yoinking it with my like first or second pick, like really early on. So I think it's
strong
contender.
Once we're done drafting, I think it'll be interesting to talk about the ones that were left, because I think they're shocking me.
Yeah,
some of the ones.
I agree.
Okay, so my last pick from this category is going to be memory, and I'm going to pick Christmas at Disney as my memory. I feel like this was like a special day for all of us, because like it was like, I always think back on this, and we always talk about this. Like, it's first of all, it's just wild that like we were able to spend Christmas at Disney, but then also to like hang out, like all of us, like with your friends. Like, it's like, that's what I was literally saying today. Yeah. I was like, who can say that like they were like had Christmas Day, like first of all at Disney, but also like with their friends, like whoever has Christmas with their friends, like
in that capacity,
like that's so cool and unique. And I feel like just like a very fond memory. And then also like we even got like the little surprise stage show and we didn't expect it, and like so many kind of little magical moments that like I'm very happy to get this one. But I think all the memories obviously are amazing.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes I forget that like that stage show we were not expecting it at all, because we like made the conscious decision that we weren't going to the Christmas party.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're like, oh, well, you forfeit seeing the stage show. If you go to if you don't go to the Christmas party, that's okay. We'll still like just have the vibes in each other. And then we show up and Clarabelle comes out freaking belting.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey.
When you're at Magic Kingdom on like a major holiday, I feel like there's so many ways that your day can go off the rails and just like not be the best. And everything went like exactly. It was like perfectly
and I feel
aligned. Like the stars were perfectly aligned for our day there.
The four of us, like we ended up showing up late back to Magic Kingdom because they had extended hours. And we were just like happened to be walking into Main Street, and then a stage show started, and we were all so confused. And then they started it, and I feel like all four of us, like And this was when we talked about earlier, but you guys were like having to go back to Canada. So Heidi had like 2 masks on, like not wanting to be near crowds, but like I feel like all of us just like went to the front and then had to like.
So true.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Very
It
worth
was
it.
such a good memory.
It's not
Yeah.
often you get to stack an awesome Christmas after age like 12. So to be able to do that,
Yeah.
like in your
And like with
mid-20s
your
is a
best
win.
friends that live in a different country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, crazy.
All right. It's my last pick and it's movies. And this is really a toss up, but I'm going to go Toy Story 3 over Lion King. Just because I think that it has some heavier hitting characters in there. And if it's on there and it's more recent, it's got to hold a little bit more water there.
Good one.
So that
I
was
like
my
it.
last one.
Nice.
I like it. Yeah. I do feel like when you look at these, which obviously these are all my favorites, but like the undrafted stuff, it's like
I know.
easily, I guess.
Well, that's
could
what,
have went.
I ended
Do we
up,
want to spend time talking about the undrafted? And
I
the merits
crossed out all
thereof?
the ones that were chosen.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess we have undrafted in characters was Iron Man.
Yep.
Attractions was Tower. Food was the baseline pretzel. In random was Pins. In movies, like Haley said, was Lion King. And then in the memories was like all of us meeting for the first time. But I think that was more linked with like that Christmas trip because it was kind of the same time. But yeah. Which one do you guys think is the most shocking or anything to?
I had
talk
2
about
that
on-
were really
There's a lot
shocking
of
to me.
shock.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I think that recently you have been a hardcore stan for Tower of Terror,
Yeah.
like making it very well known that it's like your favorite ride now. And because I used to have the same thing as Tommy, where like when I thought of Tower of Terror, I immediately thought of Heidi. And I think I still do. So like when I see like merch and stuff, but then when I really think about it, I feel like I hear you talking about it a lot
Yeah,
recently.
Brandon going like, "Yeah, you guys want to ride Tower?" Like that is like firmly implanted in my brain.
Or
Like, oh, we
even
could do
like-
Tower. Like, yeah,
Even like when we are like doing these podcasts, I feel like he's always the one to like bring up Tower of Terror. Like we end up talking about how much you like it.
Yeah.
And then the other one I was shocked at was pin trading.
Yeah.
But I feel like almost in the opposite, that's moved more towards like a Heidi favorite than like a just a you favorite.
That's true.
That
I feel
is
like
true.
it's like she like that's something that like she would never give up in the parks, and you would like you could if other things.
That's true.
came for
Yeah.
it.
It's
That
interesting
actually
to
is
think about.
true because like on your program and stuff, I feel like you do pin trade, but like you don't make it like a priority necessarily.
No, you're right. Actually,
Whereas I feel like I would, like kind of Haley's saying, and I feel like you like the like pins like more like the actual thing of pins, but I feel like I
you like the
pin
act
trading.
of
Like, I'm
pin
like,
trading.
Yeah, I'm like
Yeah.
I like doing that.
That's
So,
true.
Yeah.
I feel like in terms of movies, I guess like Lion King to me makes sense. I think in terms of the grand scheme, why it's like here still, because I think all of the other ones I think I'm more vocal about liking,
Mhm.
whereas Lion King is just like that childhood
It's the
favorite movie.
nostalgia.
But I feel like all of the other ones I really do love. I think more so if I had to rank them, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
Lion King's foundational.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Laid the groundwork. Yeah,
Yeah, built the Disney adult that you are today.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is true. But I do think, again, like a lot of my picks, I think for my favorite things, which I said this on like the last kind of podcast, I'm not like a super nostalgic person. So like a lot of stuff that kind of comes up, it could be like brand new to me. And then I really kind of cling to it. And obviously things help when there's like a memory, like obviously like me working at Fantasmic, but then it kind of shapes how you view like Disney stuff. If there's like a big memory, right? Like it's
Mhm.
something then that you, build collections off, like you said, Tommy, or different things. I think it's interesting. And for food was the hardest one, I think, for me. After Shaky Jamaica and popcorn got taken, I think all of the other 3 were kind of closer. Like it does make sense to me how the last one though was the pretzel. I feel like that's
Yeah,
like
I
a
don't think
thing.
I would have ever picked the pretzel for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like
For
it's
sure.
a newer.
it's
Probably
a
was.
newer thing, but not as close. And then
And
I
the other
guess
things just pop a little bit more. Like the pretzel is like
Yes.
a pretzel where it's like Nutella waffle.
Well, and the waffle, like I feel like now it's
Chicken
like
guy.
waffle and hubgrass. Like I feel like it's
Yeah.
like a combo.
Yeah.
So it like holds. I think that like
got
some are
memories
like
baked into it.
twofers.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's why, like when I picked Fantasmic, like it held a bunch of like cast member memories and it's an amazing show. So
Yeah.
like, and then like Heidi got Christmas Day, and it was like Christmas Day, but it was also all of us, and you were away for Christmas for the first time. So like it holds more. Like some of them just like it's almost like they're weighted.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
That's true.
And then I guess the last one like to touch on is the character being Iron Man, which makes sense in the Disney ranking here why he would be.
If I didn't get Endgame, I would have took Iron Man because
Something
I feel
Marvel.
like he's like one of the like he's your favorite character.
Oh, yeah,
and
for
you
sure.
Love Marvel, but
Yeah.
it makes sense that he was kind of left over when all the other characters are all like your core Disney people.
Yeah, I guess now we can kind of go through all of our little teams here drafted. You can all let us know which one that you like the best, or maybe you think if you know me well that it fits me.
If you think you know Brandon better than us,
yeah,
let us know.
And then maybe we can all collectively give our opinion on whose team we think is the best. So I'll go first, and then we can kind of go, I guess, or maybe we can go in order of
let's go in order.
Like of the draft. So Haley,
whoever loses, Brandon's replacing you with somebody in the comments that votes a better draft than you. So this held a lot of weight. You guys didn't know we were auditioning to see who's off the squad.
Stakes, yep.
Yeah,
new squad member.
All right, so I got to pick first. My character was Goofy. I feel like he's a good OG character. My food was the chicken guy, loaded mac and cheese with the Parmesan garlic sauce. Yeah, you have to have that. Multiple of them. You can see by the picture. The attraction was Phantasmic, which I feel like I was really happy with that first pick. That's where I knew if I was 1-1, that's where I had to go for Brandon. It screams him, I think.
Yeah.
My random was the enchantment song, You Are the Magic. The number one listener on Spotify was Brandon. My movie was Toy Story 3, which I think is still a good one, but I don't think it was the highest it could have been. And then my memory was Harmonious with the Leffersons and the Four of Us, which I think is, at least for me, one of my favorite memories.
Yeah.
And that's another one where I think it holds a lot of weight because you get Harmonious in it, you get the six of us in it, you get like sleepover in it the whole time.
Yeah.
Good one. Love it, funny. Haley.
Nice. Okay. So mine, I'll go in order here what I have. So characters was Judy Hopps. Food was popcorn. For attractions, I got Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. For movies, I got Avengers Endgame. For random, I got hats. And for memory, I got Christmas, where all of us went on Christmas Day. And overall, I feel pretty happy with my choice. So, yeah.
I'm just laughing because I'm like, how do I pick a favorite of all? I'm like, good team. Oh, good team for Haley, too.
Yeah, you do live with one of the members, so that may weigh a little bit into it. So,
yeah. Okay, so for me, I took the genie with my character pick. In terms of attractions, I took Runaway Railway, which I don't feel as strongly about like that one, but I do think that it is one that I do love. For food, I took the fresh fruit waffle from Sleepy Hollow. In the random category, I took the Wishable and Nuimo in my fanny pack. In terms of movies, I took The Incredibles, and then with memory, I took Getting Engaged at Walt Disney World. So I think that I have some good ones in there. I ironically don't think that mine is the strongest of anyone yet, which is very funny. I think that it's funny, how the drafting fell, but I like the only three that I feel very strong about is my character, my random, and my memory. The other three, I'm kind of like, they're not my top in the category. So I think that by default, I probably don't have the best team of my own draft.
All right. And for character, I went with Sorcerer Mickey to try and double dip some of those Phantasmic points. For food, Everyday Fuel, Shaken Jamaican, the Shaky Jamaican. For attraction, went Toy Story Mania. For random, went Harmonious, Rest in Power. For movie, went Zootopia. And then for memory, becoming a cast member, every Disney fan's dream.
Wow.
All right, Brandon, the pressure's on.
Well, okay.
To be honest, yeah.
I feel like this is what's hard, okay? Like is what I'm going to say. Like, and you can all give maybe your thoughts on who you think's is the winner.
Yeah.
I do think in terms of the overarching.
Okay,
this
well,
is hard.
Why don't you read what your true
top in each
like if you had to pick a number one for all of them?
Perfect.
Yeah, what is your perfect?
So Genie would have been my number one for characters.
Yep.
Phantasmic was my number one attraction.
Yep.
The Shaky Jamaican was my food. My random was like between hats or the Wishable Nuimo. Those were my two top, like for me. Then Zootopia and Endgame were very close. And then becoming the cast member and
So
getting
think Tommy.
engaged. I think
Yep.
Tommy.
I think that Tommy, because I think Tommy has a lot of ones that are very like cast members,
The
Shaky
heavy,
Jamaica
yeah.
are very heavy. Zootopia is very heavy. So I think that those are very strong
Yeah,
picks.
he's got like three
Top choices, I
Yeah.
would say, out
which
of the
is more than
6.
the other.
Which
When we
is big.
listed them, his was the one that I would have picked for you.
I wasn't
Yeah.
sure about Zootopia. Obviously, I know you love Zootopia, but I think with movies it's tough sometimes, especially like Zootopia is very like happening. Like if that
Yeah.
makes sense, like it's like kind of more so in the news. Like
Involved.
Endgame,
Yeah.
we move. Like I think very like I said, I associate you very heavily with Endgame as well as like the Lion King and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
that's not as much kind of in like a day-to-day conversation. So I don't know if it's one of those things where it's like, nah, man, like Lion King's my favorite movie of all time.
yeah.
Like, what do you mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I
Yeah.
wasn't sure about how like Zootopia and food. I went back and forth a little bit on settled on chicken Jamaican just because it is like a constant. But
Yeah,
I think food was like one of my hardest ones for you.
yeah,
Yeah, like
that's true.
yeah, well, like yeah. As
Yeah,
you
'cause
can
I
tell
would've
by
put-
the food, I'm so basic with all my
But I would have
food,
put the Nutella waffle, I think, higher than
I was very close to going.
I thought, because that's where I was
Yeah.
going
was
if
very
I
close.
didn't go with Chicken Guy, and I only went towards Chicken Guy because of how often you had it
Yeah.
on your
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
program.
I was gonna say the other thing about Tommy's answers too is like all his other answers kind of double dip and stuff. It's like harmonious. Then
Yeah,
it's like
he's
you
a
think about the
sneak.
memory.
Sneak.
Sorcerer
Sorcerer
Mickey,
Mickey.
you think about
Just good at
Fantasme,
drafting.
and then Mania. You like. You
I
don't-
loved it.
like that
it
was your favorite ride
for a
up
long time.
until like.
And it's your favorite land,
And
and,
I-
nothing
It
else
is,
is
yeah.
inside of your
and I
favorite
didn't
land.
know. I didn't know that I probably knew at one point and had forgotten that you were that big of a fan of Toy Story Mania. Because like I
Yeah.
said, I was like going like I was 50-50 between that and
Yeah,
Tower
he
of
has
Terror.
the Magical
did.
Castle shirt.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I do.
I think it's tough though with attraction, especially like Phantasmic and then Cosmic Rewind is such a strong 1-2 punch that like even
Yeah.
though Cosmic Rewind wouldn't necessarily be the top attraction, like is it, would it rank overall higher than some of
Right.
the other categories? Maybe. Like I
Yeah.
think it's tough to follow that up sometimes. But
Yeah. I also think that when I look at this list of all of these, I feel like all of us collectively have had good memories with a lot of these things, whether it's like obviously all of like the memories, attractions. I think that our kind of thing has become like the shaky Jamaica ever since Haley corrected me on my first time when I was so sad and I just had it black with nothing in it. And then Haley
Just
was like,
not me acting like I know Brandon better than he knows himself.
Haley was like, oh, like, aren't you going to get like some hazelnut with some cream too? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Do I do that? And she's like, yeah, like,
That's your order.
yeah, that's your order, which is so
Oh
funny.
gosh.
You
So,
saved his life.
You did, seriously. But I think objectively, I had the worst
Yeah, I agree.
draft of all 4, which I don't know what I was
Well,
doing.
you were putting a lot of
But-
pressure on yourself there in the
I
beginning.
think you were stressing yourself out.
Yeah,
I
you're
was,
showing up
but-
nervous to your birthday bracket.
Going all about you.
Seriously. But well done, Tommy.
Yeah.
I would say that our consensus here in the squad is that Tommy probably had the best draft, and you can all let us know. Like I said, over at Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, all the things at the Park Squad Pod. So let us know. How do you feel,
You guys
Tommy?
linked
about it?
up that one boys' night, and now you're.
Yeah.
You're connected.
now that I've won the draft, I am Brandon now, and he needs to be Tommy.
Yeah, because Brandon's off the draft now because you were the
Yeah,
winner.
he's
Yeah.
kicked off.
Oh, yeah, yours
I'm
was the
off.
worst. You're out of the squad.
I mean, you're off the spot. Yeah.
That's so sad. Oh wow, I'm so sorry.
Anyway,
Well,
see
guys,
you
this,
later.
this has been fun. I end on a bang with my
Yeah,
draft.
thank you so much for
Yeah.
your time.
It's been great having you.
It's so funny. I also want to say that Tommy was the one who came up with the name ExtravaBranza,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
absolutely.
is very good.
You have to start thinking about one that fits Heidi's name.
Yeah, I will, and I'll
Right,
keep it a
right.
secret.
Yeah.
True.
I have,
Yeah,
I have,
until
I have,
August.
yeah, I have a little longer to prepare, but I'll think
Yeah.
of something good.
Yeah, we also thought, that this was like a really fun idea. So hopefully you enjoyed it, because I'm sure that we'll all do something like this, like capacity for our birthdays. I think would be fun, or something at least for each of us to have like an episode about like a birthday thing would be so fun. But like I said, you can find us on all platforms at the Park Squad Pod, where you can kind of listen or watch. Also, we mentioned this last week, but starting in May, the podcast will be going bi-weekly, because I will be moving down to Disney World to do my cultural exchange program. And just for the simplicity of everyone in the summer, for all of us, we just thought that it would work best that way. But then once we get to Disneyland, baby, we are kicking off with the expo, all the stuff, and back to regularly scheduled programming, if not more so, with our boots on the ground, with all of the recaps and fun stuff that happens at D23, which we're excited about. So hopefully you like are wanting to become a member of the squad. Like I said, you can like this video, follow us, give a 5-star rating all that fun stuff. And we will see you in a couple weeks from now.
Happy birthday, Brandon.
Happy birthday, Brandon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.